that requirement may be a little cumbersome, considering how dynamic business is. Would the central bank accept a condition, as stated by Congressman Verde, and I would like to elaborate, certain representations and warranties on the part of the buyer, and maybe defining who are disqualified from owning bank shares, who are disqualified? You said criminal elements, there is a those three situation, or maybe antitrust situation, dummies, if there will be a violation of nationality. If those things can be now predefined by the central bank and can be incorporated into the law, so that there will be definite disqualifications, and then every time there is such purchases, there will be a representation and warranty on the part of the buyer, which, if violated, would make the purchase null and void for the start.
Which is that I think the committee can very well accept. Which is very progressive.
In fact, I propose that we take that direction.
Okay, so the committee accepts the proposal.
Which Congressman Cole is requesting the central bank give me the desired definitions, and you do that.
To make a language.
Mr. Chairman, we stand ready to explore the suggestion of Congressman Rones towards getting a reasonable language that would, at the end of the day, the interest of the BSP is just to make sure that there's enough protection there.
In other words, the central bank still has recourse because of that provision that it will be rendered null and void of the issue if they violate these conditions.
Exactly, Your Honor.
With maybe even criminal liabilities, because there might be fraud involved here, or even an attempt to criminally intervene in banking transactions.
I think that's very well taken.
So I think we can agree on that, so we can move.
It will take out, Mr. Chairman, the arbitrariness in it, because that is the problem. If we leave it to the BSP, and there is no fixed standard, no? Your decision will be charged as being arbitrary. In other words, what may be desirable, let's say for one party, may not be applied to the other party, and there would be arbitrariness there. I think that's the point of the whole exercise. You set us a standard, you give us a standard, and then perhaps that should resolve the problem.
The other point that Mr. Spinilla cited, what was that?
Mr. May just respond to the...
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I believe the BSP would have no problem with standards being set in the exercise of such screening power, Mr. Chairman. But maybe just point out that part of the experience is that sometimes to elude the BSP, the ownership, the change of ownership is not even recorded in the books, such that although there is effective control, the records will not show a transfer of ownership. So, provided that we can also, the language could also incorporate safeguards against those issues.
In fact, Mr. Chairman, that situation would not be germane of this provision, because if you cannot detect it, how can a provision allow you, enable you to detect it? We cannot legislate your ability to detect it.
So we go to the second point.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
Yeah. Relative to that point, the suggestion will be along the lines of putting an obligation on the part of the shareholders to declare who are actually invested in the bank. So it's a matter of tightening the ground rules, Mr. Chairman. But we are amenable to this type of suggestions, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please submit
Yes,
that.
I think PDIC has to go.
Thank you for accepting my amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Comment the PDIC.
Mr. Chair, thank you and good morning. Good morning, sir. For this particular point, Your Honor, PDIC would just like to request that BSP share any information that it has on any transfers with PDIC, because we're the ones also affected. we need to know who are the owners of the banks at any given point so that in case of closure, we know who to go after.
How about that?
Governor Spinilla.
Mr. Chairman, actually, based on the existing information sharing arrangements, we would not have a problem with sharing these kinds of information without even amending the law. Because the PDAC and the BSP work together in promoting the safety and soundness of the banking system.
That area is already closed. You mentioned another thing. Another possible concern of the BSP, of the present draft.
Mr. Chairman, we have also a recommendation along the lines of lifting deposit secrecy insofar as pertaining to the conduct of bank examinations. If I may be allowed to explain why the BSP seeks this. We have fairly extensive experience wherein fraud is being committed in a bank, and because the people perpetrating those frauds are knowledgeable that the banking supervisor will be blinded once these transactions are passed through a deposit account. This has been a common modus operandi in the cases of banks that we have looked into and have failed. So, Mr. Chairman, by allowing the BSP as banking supervisor that flexibility to look through the deposit accounts, the BSP will be in a much better position to properly supervise banking organizations, Mr. Chairman. Subject to standards, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, there is already a provision. There is a specific provision that we have incorporated in this bill that allows waiver, but not as a general waiver, simply because a bank is examining the deposits under the BSP. In fact, if I may just request the representative of the Chamber of Trade Banks to focus on that particular provision so that we can ably respond to the concern expressed by Deputy Governor Espinilla. What specific section is that?
Mr. Chairman, that's in section 26.
Section 26.
The title is bank deposits.
Okay. That's like that.
The provision requires that any director, officer, or stockholder contracts a loan or any form of financial accommodation from a bank, etc., in excess of the 5% of the capital of the bank, shall be required by the lending bank to waive the secrecy of his deposit